military offensive in Gaza.
To extend, he wants to have presidency for life. These are sick people. I promise at the end of 6 years I'll be very happy, but you're going to be left with the strongest country you've ever had. I promise you that. Exactly. You're right. USA. We love USA. And we're now the #1 economy anywhere in the world, and it's not even close. The stock market and our country, from an economic standpoint, is doing the best probably it's ever done. We're hitting new highs again. We've hit new highs, I guess, close to or over 100 times since I'm president from the time of the election.
Wages are rising fast, and the lowest paid workers are making the biggest percentage gains of all. And that's nice to hear. It's about time.
America's future has never been brighter. Yet, the Democrats, those very friendly people in Washington, have never been angrier than they are today. You see, somebody else with a very low level of energy was supposed to be standing here instead of me. They wouldn't be in this room. I don't know. They got some problems, I would say that.
And we are doing it faster than anyone ever thought possible. Very proud of it. And around the world, America is respected again because we are finally putting America first. Been a long time. Our economy is now the hottest anywhere on the planet Earth. Just this morning, we learned that the GDP smashed expectations with the economy growing at an annual rate of 3.2% in the first quarter. Always the worst quarter for whatever reason. 3.2.
Our agriculture, they don't want it. We want to sell the agriculture. So they sell cars. We sell practically nothing. That's how we have these massive imbalances with so many countries. Now, China's the big one. Because with China, it's at least $375 billion a year deficit. Think of it. 300. Who the hell wants, who made these deals? It's true. It's true. Honestly, in all fairness to Obama, this was him, but this was before Obama, a long time before Obama. This has been going on for a long time, and all I'm telling you is if we don't make a deal, we're going to do even better, okay? We have all the cards. Don't forget, we're the piggy bank that everybody's robbing. We're the ones. We're the piggy bank that everybody is stealing from and robbing and taking advantage of. Because that was a rigged system. And I am breaking down the swamp. If you look at what's happening, they're getting caught, they're getting fired. Who knows what's going to happen from now on, but I hope it's very strong.
High up the ladder this went in the Obama administration because this strategy to take Trump down was so, it was just so wide-ranging, from informants to the dossier to the media leak strategy. It's incredible.
It is, and I do think we will get accountability.
You do?
I do. We may not get it as quickly as we want, but I do think there is going to be accountability. We will find out exactly how this happened. I think Republicans, Lindsey Graham in the Senate in particular, will be able to drive the process to try and uncover as much and get as much transparency. We deserve this transparency. The American people deserve it, especially after what we just went through.
Well, it was
Very, very dishonest people, okay? Nobody gets it. Why? They're opposed to strong military. They're opposed to all of the things
And
we've
Governor
done, including
Gavin Newsom
making
had a
our
great
nation
conversation.
wealthy, including
And we
high
stand
GDPs.
Together, we will all.
They were
get to the
contributors
bottom
in many
of it.
cases to Hillary Clinton.
Get to the bottom
Hate
of
them with a
lot of things
passion.
happening
How they
in our
picked this
country.
panel, I don't know. And they came up with no collusion, and they actually also came up with no obstruction. But our Attorney General ruled, based on the information, there was no obstruction. So you have no collusion, no obstruction.
Thank you, President Trump, for all you're doing for America and all Americans.
That's correct.
And they're not going to win against me. And we're handling it. We're doing well on trade. We're doing well with China. Things are going good.
Why are they opposed to things that truly make our country great? Why? Nobody gets it. I don't get it. The level of dishonesty and corruption in the media is unbelievable. But we're stuck with activist judges who seek to rewrite our Constitution to force their own radical views onto our country.
It was the most thorough investigation probably in the history of our country. I think I read where they interviewed 500 people.
So they'll be investing very shortly, and it started already, $40 billion with a B, $40 billion, and it'll be a lot more than that.
Blue-collar jobs recently grew at the fastest rate in more than 3 decades. Nearly 5 million Americans have been lifted off of food stamps since our election.
So they'll be investing very shortly, and it started already, $40 billion with a B, $40 billion, and it'll be a lot more than that.
Details. This
That's
always kind
right.
of happens, doesn't it?
It's unbelievable how stupid the state has been in collecting tax revenues, and now those revenues, they're collapsing. So they are $450 million short of where they thought they would be on this year's tax collections. And take a look at what this is going to mean for next year's deficit. Originally projected at $1.7 billion, it will now be $2.2 billion. Right now, the state's scrambling to find $217 million to make up the shortfall for just this year. They've only got a couple of months to do it. So they're not going to hire anybody. They're doing everything they can to shut down the taps on spending. Meanwhile, the state legislature, you know, lots of Democrats up there, they want to put in place a 16% surcharge on hedge funds. Now, it's the hedge funds who have been leading. Let's see, Edward Lampert, Paul Tudor Jones, both left because of these high taxes.
And they were big chunks, right? I mean, these guys represented huge amounts of money, right? Didn't they?
Absolutely. They're industry leaders, very well known. Connecticut was considered the #3 place in the world for hedge funds. They are losing that position. They are losing revenue, and they are desperate. Let me tell you.
But this is a slippery slope, right? Because California has lost over a million people, New Jersey over 1 million people.
All right, to the tax plan. Oh, why not? High tax states are taking a big hit under the new tax law. We are starting to see some evidence of this. Condo sales Manhattan down 25% in the first quarter of this year.
He is actually achieving. He's not a rhetorician. He is not trying to impress with a bloviation, as some presidents have.
Correct.
He is just getting it done for America.
And he's telling the truth finally. He's not pandering.
They can't stand
yeah,
that.
he's not
They can't
pandering.
stand that
He's not
truth
doing
thing.
what Hillary Clinton did and said she had hot sauce in her bag or throwing.
Did you see Jimmy Fallon? Jimmy Fallon. The guy screws up my hair.
Donald, I want to ask you, because the next time I see you, you could be the president of the United States. I just wanted to know if there's something we could do that's just not presidential, really, or something that we can do now that we're just both civilians. Like...
Like what? This is. I'm not liking the sound of this. Go ahead.
Can I mess your hair up? I'm being gentle. I'm being gentle.
As long. The answer is yes, but the people in New Hampshire, where I'm going to be in about an hour from now, I hope they're going to understand. Okay?
You say yes?
Go ahead with my hairspray.
Going back and forth. He was so disappointed to find out it was real. He couldn't believe it. Well, that's one of the great things I got. Everybody used to say, my hair's phony. It's not my hair. I'm wearing a hairpiece. You know what anybody here wearing a hairpiece? No? No? But the one thing, they never say that anymore, because I've been caught in rainstorms. I've been caught in winds that are like 60 miles an hour getting off. If it's not your hair, don't run for office, folks. Don't run. Do not run for office, because the gig would be up. So Jimmy Fallon apologized. He apologized for humanizing me, the poor guy, because now he's going to lose all of us. You know, now he's going to lose all of us. If somebody would open a talk show at night, because the guy on CBS is what a lowlife. What a lowlife. I mean, honestly, are these people funny? And I can laugh at myself. Frankly, if I couldn't, I'd be in big trouble. Well, the subpoena is ridiculous. I have been the most transparent president and administration in the history of our country by far.
And this president has every piece of evidence to show that he is doing everything he promised in the campaign of 2016.
That's exactly right. And he's also confronting the illegal immigration crisis and talking about that finally, which negatively impacts the black community directly. Low-wage workers, young black men are impacted the most when these illegal immigrants come in and do the jobs for lower wages. And I'm so happy that we're starting this conversation and that black conservatives are finding the strength and the fortitude to go forward and to speak up against people like that professor.
But there's no talent. They're not like talented people. Johnny Carson was talented. Some of these guys, no, seriously. I mean, this guy on CBS has no talent. Jimmy Kimmel would meet me before the election. I'm telling you, true story. I don't even think you'd deny it. No talent, but I'd go to a studio to do a shot, to do a thing. He would stand outside on the sidewalk waiting for me. Oh, here he comes, Donald Trump. Oh, he opens my door. I said, does he do this to everybody, to his people? He does it for nobody. Now, who knows? Maybe that was just, but he's waiting for me too.
Ready to rumble. No American president has had as big of an impact in the nation and the world in such a short time as Donald Trump. That is according to Ron Kessler. He's the author of The Trump White House, Changing the Rules of the Game.
And he's there. Here he is. Oh, sir, how are you? Hi. Oh, so thank you so much for doing it. And I always got higher ratings than other people, so that was always good. But Jimmy Fallon calls me up, and he's like a nice guy. If you want to litigate, go after the DNC, Crooked Hillary, the dirty cops, all of these things. That's what should be litigated. CBS, NBC. I made a fortune for NBC on The Apprentice. They treat me horribly. I think they're worse, actually, than CNN. I think NBC. And they wanted to renew my contract. They wanted to renew my contract, and they were doing everything. I say it's enough. Get back to infrastructure. Get back to cutting taxes. Get back to lowering drug prices. That's what... really, that's what we should be doing.
Let terrorists that are in prison vote. I don't think so. Let the Boston bomber vote. He should be voting, right? I don't think so.
Candace Owens, Communications Director for Turning Point USA, our guest tonight. I've got to tell you, you were absolutely magnificent. And those two fellas don't know what hit them yet, I am sure. They were trying, they were ganging up there.
Absolutely.
And you just tore them up. I love it.
Yeah, I wasn't going to allow them to render me speechless. So he had let Michael go on for about a minute and 50 seconds, and then I spoke for 20.
The president has, I was saying earlier, Candace, I think immense patience to put up with this. Under assault every day from every quarter, including his own party, which unfortunately includes a lot of rhinos.
I absolutely love President Trump. I cannot say it enough. He's such a strong leader. He's fierce, he's strong, and he takes these attacks every day in stride, and he still goes out there and he does the job, and he's making America better. And let me just say this. Sure. If President Trump is racist, he's doing a very bad job at it, okay? Because we are seeing numbers and opportunities for black Americans that we haven't seen in decades.
The top man at Comcast came up to see me in my office with a whole group of people. Please, please renew your contract for The Apprentice. I said, that's what I knew I was going to run, because I turned it down. You know, it's a primetime show, doing well, 14 seasons, did great. Hey, Arnold Schwarzenegger, big movie star, took my place. It bombed in about 2 shows. It was over. It actually bombed in 1 show. It was so bad, they didn't believe it, so they let it go a little bit longer.
But if you look at Drain the Swamp, I am draining the swamp. Thank you very much.
He's lost. He looks like a lost soul. Right? He gets out there, hey, hey, hi, oh. But you know what? He's a nice guy. I agree.
Well, we're fighting all the subpoenas. Look.
3 times I did a show before this whole, now I wouldn't do a show, that guy's terrible. But I do a show, and he's standing out on Hollywood, whatever, Boulevard, and he's standing there, opening up the door, like going crazy. Oh, hello, hello. I wasn't president. I was like a guy, right? A guy with potential. Right? With potential.
But they checked my financials and they checked my taxes, I assume.
So, and the one who knew it was my wife. She said, you know. She's very smart. She said, you know there's nobody that can take your place, don't you? I said, thank you, darling, I appreciate it. How smart is that? Now, I don't know if she believes it, but she said, there is nobody that can take your place. He will not be successful. I said, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He will not be successful. There is nobody, darling, that can take your place. How smart is she? How smart, right? How smart.
We've added almost 6 million jobs since my election. And if I would have said that during the campaign, all of those people back there, we call them the fake news, they wouldn't have believed it. They're fake.
Big storm. It's going to be hitting Green Bay. We may have to cancel. I said, like hell, we're going to cancel. People are standing out.
Why are they opposed to things that truly make our country great? Why? Nobody gets it. I don't get it. The level of dishonesty and corruption in the media is unbelievable. But we're stuck with activist judges who seek to rewrite our Constitution to force their own radical views onto our country.
Can you imagine Sleepy Joe, Crazy Bernie? You look at the candidates, right? I think Pocahontas, she's finished, she's out. She's gone. No, when it was found that I had more Indian blood in me than she did, and then it was determined that I had none, but I still had more. That was the end of her 32-year scam on colleges.
My husband is a police officer, and he works night shift. One night he was at work, and my daughter and I were home alone. Someone started banging so hard on the door it broke in 2 places. He demanded that I let him in. I called 911 and I went to my room to get the gun. I heard a loud crash, and when I came out to the hallway to see, he was running towards me with a look in his eyes that I'll never forget. I shot him twice, and I held him at gunpoint until the police arrived.
Jay-Z and Beyonce concerts, okay? He's telling the truth and saying, hey, black community, what do you have to lose? They have destroyed your communities with the welfare system. They have broken down the black family. What do you have to lose? The answer for everybody watching at home is absolutely nothing. Thank you, President Trump, for all you are doing for black America.
This event was something that changed my life. I've never been more afraid, but I've been standing strong, and I've told my story again and again because with each person I told, they stood a little taller, knowing that if I could protect myself and my family, that they could too. Protecting my family would not be possible without the right to bear arms. It's an issue that's obviously close to my heart. If these rights had been taken from us, I may not be standing here today, and I may not have a healthy, now 6-year-old daughter. I'd like to thank you, Mr. President, for your unapologetic stance on our right to bear arms. I truly believe those rights saved my life and the life of my daughter that night. Thank you.
That's going to be a great trade deal, and we're very close to making a deal with China, but who knows? I always say who knows, because who the hell knows? The deal is either going to be a great deal. It has to be. I told President Xi, he's a friend of mine. I said, listen, this can't be like a good deal for both. This has to be a deal, because we have been losing to China for many years $500 billion a year. We have rebuilt China. We've given them so much. Well, think of it. And that's cash. You know, they can say it's surplus. They can say it's deficit. Call it whatever. We were losing cash. We're giving them 500. How the hell can you do it? And as Prime Minister Abiy said to me today, he said, nobody's ever talked to me this way. From our country. It's true. No, he said it friendly. No, he said it friendly. He said it friendly. He's a friend of mine. But
of course, when I start going after them, you watch those red lights go off. They don't want any part of it. They turn those lights, then they come back. They need the ratings. They come back.
So they'll be investing very shortly, and it started already, $40 billion, with a B, $40 billion. And it'll be a lot more than that. The poverty rate for Wisconsin families has reached the lowest rate in 22 years.
Around the world, America is respected again because we are finally putting America first. Been a long time. Our economy is now the hottest anywhere on the planet Earth. Just this morning, we learned that the GDP smashed expectations with the economy growing at an annual rate of 3.2% in the first quarter.
We just went through the Mueller witch hunt where you had really 18 angry Democrats that hate President Trump. They hate him with a passion.
We had a tremendous increase in inventory investment. You know what that means? And listen to this, a very big increase in net exports. Isn't it about time? Isn't that nice?
These aren't like impartial people. The Democrats are trying to win 2020. They're not going to win with the people that I see.
Last night on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Congressman Swalwell joins a corner. I have to rent a coliseum, as we say. As the 2020 Democrat presidential field grows and grows, so does President Trump's Hispanic base. Let's bring in now Lily Gil Valletta. She's the CN Plus, CN, I'm going to get this right, CN Plus co-founder and CEO. Lily, thank you for being here. This really caught my eye this morning as we looked at the metrics on this. You've done a lot of research among the Hispanic community. and in relation to politics, and in relation in particular to Donald Trump. You say that the president is growing in popularity among the Hispanic population. Make your case.
Yeah, well, let's take a step back. It will be the largest non-white voter bloc for 2020, driving 50% of U.S. population growth at 32 million strong eligible voters.
Right.
So it is a bloc that everybody needs to pay attention to.
It means rich folks are not moving to these high-tax Democrat-run states. Wait till you see how many people are moving out.
And that's right. And that's what this fight is all about. We're taking on the failed political establishment and restoring government of, by, and for the people. It's the people. You're the people. You won the election. And if you look at what's happened with the scum that's leaving the very top of government, people that others used to say, oh, that's one that dirty, these were dirty cops. These were dirty players. You take a look at what's going on. There's 21 of them already. And I'm not even doing, they're just leaving because they got caught like nobody ever got caught.
2 years, Newt, of this, collusion delusion where the whole country is going on this goose chase because people like, John Brennan, people like Brennan and Clapper are using words like treason and collusion.
Right. Right. The president said he is going to restore this nation to prosperity. And he's going to restore prosperity for all Americans. And he underlined that. And he is delivering on it. And the left has no answer to it. And I watch some of these savants on some of those other channels on occasion. And I wonder, where are they getting their facts? What would they like this president to do that he's not doing?
The only way they can maybe luck out, and I don't think that's going to happen, it might make it even the opposite. That's what a lot of people are saying. The only way they can luck out is by constantly going after me on nonsense. But they should be really focused on legislation, not the things that have been, this has been litigated, just so you understand. This has been litigated for the last 2 years, almost since I got.
And we're now the #1 economy anywhere in the world, and it's not even close. And in the truest sense of the word, what we are doing now is draining the swamp. That's true.
The way, because you had the Attorney General doing things that she should not have been doing.
Yeah.
You have to presume that President Obama knew it, and then you ask the question, so did Joe Biden know any of this? I mean, was he in the loop? Was he aware of what's going on? I don't think this is going to go away.
Yeah.
I think now it's going to get worse for the left.
That's a really good point. What did Biden know? Tom, you've written about this, obviously, in Real Clear Politics, and we want to know how.
But they don't confront them. So when we as people, they're talking about the Supreme Court. We were saying you lost it. These very, very, military. They're opposed to. Very dishonest people, okay? Very, very dishonest people. Very dishonest people. Very
It's the lowest quarter. We did 3.2% in the first quarter. GDP crushing expectations and accelerating our economic boom. And that was with a shutdown. That was with a lot of different things. That was with bad weather. That was with everything you can imagine. 3.2 in the first quarter, usually the lowest and worst quarter.
Unemployment recently achieved its lowest rate in 51 years, and very shortly, it should be its lowest rate in the history of our country.
He said nobody from this country, no president has ever said this. You know, nobody ever even talked about it. We lose $75 billion a year. Japan, as an example, sells us their cars. The cars come in. No tax. They don't take our cars. Other than that, it's a very fair deal.
Historically low levels of unemployment among African Americans, among Hispanics. Women, I believe the number is something like 18 years low. We're looking at youth unemployment. It's been more than a half century since that unemployment rate was this low.
Now we're finished with it, and I thought after 2 years we'd be finished with it. No, now the House goes and starts subpoenaing. They want to know every deal I've ever done. Now Mueller, I assume, for $35 million, checked my taxes, checked my financials, which are great, by the way. You know they're great. All you have to do is go look at the records. They're all over the place.
Mitchell. It's a double whammy, isn't it, for these high-tax Democrat-run states? Rich people, the 1%, they're not moving in, and those that are there already, a lot of them, will move out. Am I right?
You're exactly right.
Unemployment numbers are the best they've ever been, by far. We have almost 160 million people working today in the United States. That's more than we've ever had working in our country before. I'm bringing the First Lady right now. She's worked very hard on the opioid crisis. We're down about 17% from last year, which is pretty amazing. We're down 17% with the opioid problem. It's a big problem. It's a big addiction.
Told me about him. All right, now to this. The state of Connecticut has a problem. You see, they decided to tax the rich, and now, well, guess what happened to revenue? You got it. It's less than originally forecast, but jury...
Spying, surveillance, trying for an overthrow, and we caught them. We caught them. Who would have thought in our country? But it's called what we all together have done. Started 2.5 years ago on that great November 8th. That was a great day. Remember that day? Great day. And in 1.5 years, we have one called November 3rd. It's November 3rd this time. Get ready to vote. You better. You better get ready to vote. But it's all called draining the swamp, and we are doing it faster than anyone ever thought possible. Very proud of it.
He was going to cut me off, and that was the point. And I said, I'm going to finish my points here, because it was literally the day after we had gotten attacked by Antifa, and yet the professor was saying that Donald Trump's supporters are racist.
They have that mantra. I don't know why they even pretend to be in the news business, because it is pure propaganda. It is baseless, it is vicious, and it is apparently mandated by their corporate masters. Otherwise, it wouldn't be permitted.
Copia of potential candidates. We don't have a screen big enough to show them all, but the list seems to be growing week after week. I think there's 18, I believe. How are they going to put them all on one stage? Huh?
Right. They're fake. Blue-collar jobs recently grew at the fastest rate in more than 3 decades. Blue-collar jobs recently fake. Fake. They wouldn't have believed it. They're fake. Fake, 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 fake news, fake news, fake, fake, fake news, fake news, fake news, fake, 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 fake news, fake. They wouldn't have believed it. They're fake. million jobs. Back there, we call them the fake news. Back there, we call them the fake news. They wouldn't have believed it. They're fake. They're fake. 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 Fake news. They wouldn't have believed it. Fake. Fake. Fake news. They wouldn't. They wouldn't. Fake. Porch, isn't it? Porch means pay decade. Pull back, isn't that fake? Off of rate short country of angrier. You is the best, and I'm very you wouldn't have believed on that great November 8th. Is the quarter get a be rate of unemployment have never been angrier. GDP. We are doing it faster anywhere on the planet. 3.2. That 3.2. Fake. Fake. Five. Pull back there. Blue Hawkins. My election. Tater. Squatter. Off of food stamps, pain. All of those people back there, we call them the fake news. They wouldn't have believed it. They're fake. They're fake.
Of the game.